Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Grams and Me Always Together, Never Apart virtual book launch party. We hope that you guys are enjoying it so far, and we are excited about what's coming up next. So, today, or in this next session, we're talking about preserving family legacy. This is a topic that is clearly important to us as we've written this book, and just as we explore more, we just love talking about preserving family legacy, which is why we wanted to talk about this important topic during this book launch. And when I was thinking about, who could I talk to about preserving family legacy? I looked at my family, and we have a long line of, I come from a long line of authors and, some family historians. And I know you guys can relate. You always have that one aunt or uncle who knows something about family history. So I wanted to bring in my uncle, Uncle Ernest, to the stage today. Hello to the book
Hi,
launch party. Hi,
hi,
yes. Hi, Uncle
hi,
Ernest.
Lynette. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you
So,
for having
I definitely had to bring you on to talk about preserving family legacy. And so, of course, I call you Uncle Ernest, but you can tell the people, a little bit about who you are.
me. Yes. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to you and the family, the Johnson family, for uh, the book Grams and Me, Always Together, Never Apart. That is a tremendous accomplishment and something that is also a family legacy.
Thank you.
As Lynette said, that I'm her Uncle Ernest. I'm a Christian. I'm a husband. I'm a brother. I'm an uncle. I'm semi-retired, and I'm a semi-retired former economic developer, human resources professional, and author. And now I'm an aspiring screenwriter.
Thank you so much for that introduction. As you can tell, you have a number of titles and a number of expertise and skills. But I definitely want to tap into that author, family historian, and now screenwriter role to talk about just thinking about those roles. What's your opinion about the importance of preserving family legacy, and tell the people a little bit about how you did that in your book.
Yes. Um, Thank you. To preserve family legacies, first we must document them. We must establish them. Then we must document them, and it's important to communicate among the family. And when we're when we are establishing legacies and preserving them, we need to establish formal or semi-formal, if you will, uh, times in which we do this and frequencies. Um, in my book, Fusion of Cultures, The Spirit of Argyle America Revealed, uh, we talk about legacy. And it's I wrote that because there was a lifelong passion that I had for writing and for my research, my love of research, that was really solidified as a result of going to grad school at Mercer University. It also came about because of my love for North Carolina and the Sand Hills region, which is in the upper Cape Fear River Valley, the Fayetteville region, as you would know now today, and its unique multicultural heritage. Lastly, I felt the need to be a voice for the voiceless.
And yeah, I'm glad you said that, Uncle Ernest. Kind of taking us into the mindset, and that's really, I think, what we're called to do. To tap into that, our roots, our ancestral roots, and looking back, because there's so many. I guess I would say there's so much questions that we have as a people, right? In
Yeah,
terms of searching for identity, which is really the theme of your book. So as we talk about that theme of searching for identity, can you let me know just a couple of things that were interesting and that you discovered about our family? by writing and researching?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Uh, when you write a book, and especially a book that is a creative nonfiction book, and there's a lot of research, you uncover a lot of things that you don't know. And one of the things that I uncovered was that our ancestors come from a people that, although they came from West Central Africa, when they were here in America, they were enslaved by the descendants of Scottish Highlanders, uh, the Braveheart people, the Wallaces and the McCoys, and so forth. The people who have the MAC, MAC and the MCs in front of their names, just to name a few. And they spoke the Scottish Gaelic, which was a unique language, which most people in the United States they don't speak anymore. Mostly in Canada, you will
Mm.
find that, and in Scotland or Ireland. So that was one of the most interesting findings, and that these people, it's documented that these people, our ancestors, spoke this language up to like the 1870s, even better than some of the descendants of Scottish Highlanders that were here in the United States. And I think it's probably because coming from Africa, people, many people spoke different dialects.
Mm.
And so therefore, when they came to America and were forced not to speak their African language anymore, they were able to adjust to the new language. But it died out because English became the prevalent language, and it was not taught in school uh, anymore too. And of course, it was the language of the enslaver as well. Also, I found out that I was just
And
mentioned the language.
bef-
Just
before
give you an
you go
example.
to that topic, could you give me the example
Just
of
oh yeah, oh
what?
sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. But infusion of cultures, as
Mhm.
you said in that earlier, it is a book about identity, and it weaves in the questions of who do you belong to and where do I come from, and forgive me for about ready to do this, but the Scottish Gaelic question of Kulish Atatu, which is where do you come from, and Ko Azatatu, who do you belong to? And just wanted to make sure that uh, Kolesh Atatu, which is who do you belong to, and Ko Azatatu is where do you come from? Those are the questions, which are really the questions that many of our people in the African American um, families, they ask those questions about who are your people? Where do you come from? They want to know that. A sense of belonging is what we all
Yes.
want to know. And in writing this book, the legacy that I think in the Cameron Hill chapter, which is very inspiring, where many our ancestors, African ancestors, are buried in a Presbyterian church cemetery adjacent to where the white people are buried, and marked
Mm.
and unmarked graves. That was another remarkable finding, which led
Mm.
me to want to know about where did I come from? And in what language did our ancestors speak in Africa? And in that chapter, I uncover that. But I just wanted to, if you would bear with me real quickly, just read
Mhm.
something from my book. And I know this is about Grams and me, but just to talk about the legacy, is that there's a scene here, and this actually happened, where I had ordered the kit from African Ancestry, where I got the DNA from.
Mhm.
The DNA samples were sent to them, and then 6 weeks later they gave the results. But I picked up the speckled brown marble countertop, uh, walked toward Cynthia with excitement, and with two hands holding the small white cardboard box above my head, skyward, turned to the east and said, "Is you the one?" Cynthia thought I was stupid and shook my head, then laughed outwardly, but inwardly I was dead serious. What might have appeared to be a comical reenactment of a scene from The Lion King, depicting the celebration of a new life that would possibly lead his or her people, was actually a question to God. Will the results of these DNA tests, both maternal and paternal, empower my family and community and lead us to a new level of cultural and ethnic identity? So that's all about what you are doing here, Lynn, you and the family. you, Larry, and Zuri, is preserving that
Yes.
cultural, ethnic identity of the family. So, which I'm very pleased.
What I just want everyone to realize is though, from a children's book to a creative, history, creative nonfiction type of book, there are various ways that you can preserve, family legacy. And want to talk a little bit about that briefly as we wrap up, about looking at what are some ways to honor and preserve, is we're talking about specifically grandparents today, and grandmothers, or, grandparents in general. We're just thinking and brainstorming about what are some ways, of course, writing a book is a way, but what are some other ways that we can preserve
Yeah.
our grandparents' legacies?
Those are excellent ideas of what we can do that. Those are excellent ideas. Family reunions are, I think, the best way to preserve your grandparents' legacy,
Yes.
to carry it down. Because family reunions, you connect with the family beyond yourself. You see people that may be closely related, but you just don't see them often. Maybe don't talk to them often, and
Mm.
you learn more about history, and you learn something every time.
And they're
Forming
fun. And they're
And
fun
there are
too.
lots of fun. There are lots of
Yes,
fun, lots of fun. Uh, Forming a nonprofit to be of service to the community.
that's a
Something
good
that
idea.
your grandparent or grandparents they they did. Okay, so you take that, you form a nonprofit, and then now you take it to another level by
Yeah,
your serving the community. The Having a scholarship in their name, yes, excellent. I see that. Uh,
yes,
Continuing to support the business that your grandparents might have had, um, and doing that, or having a business and naming it after a grandparent or
yeah,
grandparents, and of course, writing a book as you have done.
of course, of course. Yeah, and speaking of names, also you see this often, and as we did with our first as well. But using part of their name and your children, whether it be a first name, middle name. Of course, you
Yes,
see that often, to pay homage and
yes, absolutely.
yeah, and then also for the oral history, this is something that the cousins and I, we had this idea, and hopefully we can get it together soon. But just as we all like to create content, this is a content creation, age. Well, let's create content and let's start recording our aunts, our uncles, grandparents, if you still have them. Start recording
Hmm.
them and getting them on camera. And our lovely Aunt Joyce, she's one who is definitely an example of, of that, and showing us how to do that. Because I still sometimes I watch old videos that she recorded of our great aunt, or even our late grandmother. And so I think that oral history is also something that we can do, especially our generation. Just turn on the
Yes,
camera and start recording your parents, start recording your aunts, your uncles, and ask them
absolutely,
questions. Hmm.
absolutely. We have so many opportunities to do that that the previous generation and generations did not have.
Thank you so much for chatting with me today, Uncle Ernest. And before we wrap up, just let the people know, how they can stay connected with you and continue to follow your work.
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, just want to say thank you again for having me here today and to talk about our family legacies. Look forward to um, reading Graham's and me, always together, never apart. I mean, that's super. I hope everyone goes out there and gets a copy of that. And the audience can find Fusion of Cultures, The Spirit of Argyle America Revealed on Amazon.com. And it's in hard copy as well as in Kindle. And I've been fortunate to be a participant in the upcoming PBS documentary called Voices Over the Water. And it's a story of identity and belonging and shared by various voices of the Scottish diaspora. And I just happen to be one of those voices. The producers are telling me that it should come out this spring on PBS. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Well, thank you so much again, Uncle Ernest, and congratulations on the upcoming documentary feature.
Thank
And
you.
again, thank you everyone for joining us. But stay tuned because we have much more of Grams and Me. virtual book launch party coming up. So don't go anywhere.